right. Good morning. Welcome back. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, it's early bird time. We're going to start this day off with some coffee and some early bird time. Where to begin? We're at Coinmarket Cap. Everything looks crazy. I'm sure that everybody has their own ideas of what's going on. Who knows? I believe the biggest story is tariffs, tariffs, tariffs. Um, you know, who really cares? But what I will say with this market is we're definitely looking at a buy season if you have money. This it's my personal thoughts because that's what I will be doing today is cleaning up, tidying the house, getting ready for the spring. Let's purchase. That's my mindset. So let's see what's going on. We've got a market cap of 2.44 trillion. 2.44 trillion. We are down. BTC is down to 77,000. It's down. It's saying it's up on the hour, but it's down. Last 7 days, it's down 5.64. Um, which isn't a big deal. ETH is down the last 7 days, 16%. XRP is down in the last That is a good buy. You know, like, like, tis the season to clean up. Yes, this was over $2. Um, and we've seen where it's been, especially from coming from the earlier days. It's got 104 billion in market cap itself. So, out of the 2.44 trillion, it's got 104 billion. Of course, BTC is holding $1 trillion. And before we get crazy and say, "Oh, $1 trillion is a lot of money," it is, but it's not. Um, how about so here to go. Um, find a page. Um, so what we want to look at is the total of 2.44 trillion in the crypto market cap, and 1.5 of that is Bitcoin, right? It's right there. Market cap 1.5 trillion of 2.4 trillion is in Bitcoin. So I'm going to show you United States debt clock. All right. United States national debt is 36 trillion. 36 trillion. Unfunded debt interest 102 trillion and climbing. Interest paid on said debt 5 trillion. Credit card debt 1 trillion. And if you average that out to all citizens, it averages 8,000. Now, every card holder that has a credit card doesn't hold $8,000 worth of debt. That's if they average it out to the total amount of citizens, because all this is national debt, which is attached to the government and the citizens. All citizens are responsible for this. We are all under contract. It is what it is. We're all under contract. Um, let's see. Hidden wealth, assets backed by the dollar, 1 trillion in precious metal reserves, 6 trillion in mineral reserves, $74 trillion worth of real estate. The United States national debt is 36 trillion. The total debt with the interest is 102. Now, in real estate, the United States citizens combined are holding $74 trillion worth of real estate, 24 trillion worth of land, 50 trillion in the stock market. Wow. Recaptured assets 7 trillion. A total hidden wealth, hidden crypto. Not that this is cryptocurrency, but crypto means hidden, right? The crypt in the cryptid. Just look the word up. It means hidden. So total hidden wealth is 168, almost 169 trillion. Wealth per citizen, yeah, yeah, I can see a lot of citizens might totally, right? No, that's a lie. If you own a home, you bought the home, you're paying on the home. Technically, you bought the home already. You're paying back a loan or a contract. You're paying back you made an agreement. Um, because you're a citizen of the United States, they were able to pay for that home for you. And here it is, right? If you own a home, let's say you own a home of 300, 200, I don't know, 100, that classifies into your wealth because the government paid for your house in a sense. Long story, whatever. But in a sense, they paid for it. So that's part of your wealth. As long as you're paying for that house, well, you own that house. Because they paid for it, quote unquote, they reserve the rights, you know what I'm saying? And different contracts that they have with banks and banks in their contracts. Like it's contract. Oh my God. Ooh, that's a story we don't even want to conversate about, but it's all contractual agreements. So if you own a home, like your wealth is also included. Your home is also included in your wealth. Anything that can be resold is a part of your wealth. Even when it comes down to vehicles, if you have a vehicle that can be resold for a value, it's a part of your wealth, right? It is. So in the United States, all citizens combined with the United States as a whole, there's a total of $168 trillion. And the United States total debt with interest is 102 trillion, right? Look at that. Credit card debt is at 1 trillion. So, I mean, it's just massive, right? Let's see what else. We want to find our commodities and whatnot. Should be up here, right? Did I miss it? All right, dollar to crypto, 6.90 to every $1 of crypto. Um, so people retail. I mean, the United States has got money invested in crypto. Mm. Paper to gold ratio. I guess they mean dollars to gold. $130 to, I don't know what they mean by gold. Is it like gram or, like what is it? What is the weight? Here, paper to silver, dollar to gold ratio, average new home, 416K, average new car, 50K. We want to see healthcare, oil, 1 drum of oil. What is it? 200 produces. Is equal to 267 watts of solar power. We've only added $818 billion as of right now into the economy, or back into the debt. I would assume. I don't know. I guess back into the economy. Then you get the U.S. population, and then the U.S. income taxpayers. Right, you can see 112 million, pushing 113 million. Our taxpayers are working and paying taxes, which just means legally contracted under contract. And that's what happens when you become an employee. 9 times out of 10, you become a contracted employee, which means that you sign an agreement or a contract with your employer. They pay you all this stuff. Money goes to the federal government, spends back out, taxes, yada, yada, yada. All right. So the United States gross domestic product, 29 trillion. Gross domestic. All right. Federal taxes brought in, 5 trillion. Um, Payroll tax, 1 trillion. Future tariff tax revenue. All right, so the future tax on tariffs is showing at 658 billion. Corporate taxes, right? Which I guess are conjoined. You can see they got them attached at the hip, right? Attachment, attachment. 529 billion in corporate tax, right? And it is going down. Look at that. Corporate tax revenue, corporate tax revenue, corporate tax. Their taxes are coming down. Look, this is what is going on here? Is anyone seeing this? Am I the only person seeing this? Look at that. Oh, look at it. Look at this. Watch this. Look right here. I'm look right here. U.S. debt clock. U.S. corporate tax revenue, a tax that must be paid by a corporation based on the amount of profit generated. Um, Look at what you're seeing. So as they're making money, right, their taxes are depreciating. The amount of money they're paying in tax, and they got this ghosted. Oh shit! U.S. federal government collections from a progressive tax on the taxable income of individuals. But look at this: income tax revenue is climbing. Look at this: 2 trillion being paid, right, coming from the citizens. Wow! And corporate taxes are falling. So, okay, so corporations, right? Their taxes are falling because the taxes are now being put through tariffs on other countries, right? So they're paying. So that means corporations that are doing business, their taxes fall. Now, here in the income side for us, income tax side for us, we don't do business with other countries. That's what corporations and businesses and institutions do. They do business with other corporations, with other countries and nations. So this with this tariff thing. This tariff shit doesn't really apply to the common person. Let's just figure this out and let's have a conversation. Because people will go wild about this, but let's actually break it down. So we're not conducting business with other countries. We don't do that. Corporations do it. So because we're just here in the United States, our business is with the United States. We're doing business here in the United States. And in the United States, we are paying taxes on things that we do in the United States. That's just how the United States does. Now, can this possibly change things here? Well, it possibly can, depending on how the corporations conduct business. Now that they're saving money, right? Look at the corporations and institutions, right? They're saving money. Now, with them saving money, they should have the ability to pay a higher wage to their employees. They should be able to reduce cost of any services and goods. So when somebody tells you, "Oh, the tariffs, we've got to charge more." Funny story. So I have a vehicle and I want to have the vehicle serviced, and I'm talking to the gentleman about the vehicle being serviced, and the gentleman says, "Well, I said, could you give me an estimated roundabout price of what we're looking at?" And he says, "Well, we've got tariffs. So with the tariffs, this could either go, anywhere from $500 to $6,500." And I'm saying to myself, okay, that's crazy. Tariffs are doing that. Okay. All right. So then I said, well, if I don't use a warranty or insurance or whatever and I have to pay out of my pocket, what are we looking at? So he says, well, give me like 3 down and then I'll get you to around 4K to get the work done. Pause. So arbitrarily, you are making up some fucking numbers. And it's okay. That's what businesses do, right? They try to figure out what's good for them. So if a warranty or another company, corporation, or business has to pay it, we're going to jack the price up, right? If you, common person who probably doesn't have much money, has to pay it, right? We'll work some because we know you ain't got much money, but we want to get this money. So yeah, we'll play around with the numbers. So that means you're negating or controlling the numbers or arbitrarily controlling the numbers how you see fit. And all businesses have the ability to do that. So when I say when corporate is reducing the amount of taxes that they're paying, right? Because the United States is doing that. This isn't make believe. This is the United States reducing the taxes on corporations because of the tariff revenue, right? So because they're reducing the amount of tariffs that they're paying out, which is saving the money, and they don't have to pay high tariffs anymore themselves, right? Well, they don't have to pay high tariffs, and they're getting a little bit more in their tariffs from other countries. It's changing the game. So now, will corporations will they use this to benefit the United States, right? Or will they continue down a path of greed because we can't control the corporations and we can't imagine what they'll do. If a normal business will say one thing and then say another thing in the same conversation, arbitrarily fucking with numbers, right? Then that tells you the likelihood. I would hope, but I'm not a fool. Just because they're saving money here and what they're paying out in taxes, let's do an example to make it more understandable. Let's say Walmart, because of what happened with the trade and tariffs, they say, okay, we can now save money and get our goods at a better price. But are we going to share that with the public? And by that I mean, okay, let's say Q-tips. Let's say Q-tips cost, I don't know, for a pack of 100, let's say it costs $2.99. Now that the cost is reduced for them, they could really charge $1.30 for it, or $1.25, or even $1, right? Would they do that? Okay. Would they do that? Would they, because they've now saved the money, right? Or would they just say, oh, wow, bonuses, we're making even more revenue, right? That we don't have to pay taxes on. So that comes back to the story that you used to hear in the past, the trickle down system. Yay or nay, right? Does it ever really work? It's subjective. You've got to find it. In my personal life, I literally heard the person say 5 to 6,500, and then without the warranty, oh well, if it's just you, I mean, give me three down, and we'll do payments, and then I get you around 4K. Well, that's like $2,500 discount. So tell me, could you have done that to begin with? Could you have done that to begin with? Because if you could have done that to begin with, don't sell me this tariff shit. Don't sell me that, because here corporate tax revenue is dropping, which means that they're saving money. They're profiting in their business revenue. Okay. So if they're profiting because of this, then they're generating money, right? They're not paying no freaking exorbitant cost to get shit shipped from it. And not every business is getting shit shipped from everywhere. That's malarkey as well. But under the points where these things are you see here, the connector, these are connected. They're all connected. Now, the estate and gift tax, right? If you want to become a citizen over here, get residency over here, the big high rollers that do the corporate stuff and institutions, hey man, they can gift and buy real estate. Real estate here. Where are we at? Let's go see it again. Real estate, $74 trillion worth of real estate. Okay. If you buy real estate, look here, 74 trillion. You can get a residency here as well. Okay. You can get residency here. So this is the other thing that this new administration, the United States government, decided to put into effect. So they're all connected. So if you follow this line, the corporate tax falls based on these two entities. This is green coming in. But this money coming in reduces the corporate tax. This isn't me shooting in the wind. You're looking at this shit with your own eyes. There it is. All right. So as we're paying our taxes, we're bringing revenue into the United States corporation, because we're all corporate entities. As United States citizens, we're corporate entities. We're employees, whether you believe it or not. I'm not a federal employee. I didn't say you're a federal employee, but when you're paying taxes, you're still technically an employee. You have to do business with the United States, and your Social Security number allows you to do business, which makes you someone who pays income tax, which essentially makes you state property or government property, right? Like, you want to be a citizen, right? Look, you want to have residency and essentially be able to do business with the United States like a citizen. Here it is. Get some real estate or pay a gift tax, which these corporate entities in other countries can do, right? Now, you're born into it, quote unquote. You're born into it. And papers are signed at the hospital. You become state property. State property belongs to the federal government, so you essentially become federal property. Hey, it is what it is. So I went through all that, right? Because you see the national debt. I didn't know I was gonna just take a look at this corporate tax thing, but, like, will this trickle down? There's a question there. Will it trickle? I don't think it will, right? 341 million people, 112 paying income tax. Now the 112 paying income tax, you can see here the revenue. Corporate tax is not the same as this tax, okay? You can see they're depreciating on the amount of um, taxes they're paying because the corporate tax revenue is depreciating. So the money going back from the corporate taxes is reduced because of these. But we are feeding the income tax revenue ourselves as citizens or U.S. income taxpayers. The 112 million of us that are paying, we're doing that, right? And small businesses and everybody else. And when we talk about corporate, they're in a whole different ball game. All right? Wow, that's amazing. Well, you give us this bad news. I didn't give you anything, right? Like, look, this is the money that they're finding. Okay, savings per taxpayer, right? You see what's connected to the U.S. income taxpayer? Well, you've saved $2,578, right? Because we're taking this money back from the malarkey, the false programs that are just made up so politicians and everybody else can pass money around and get it and fat in their pockets. So I can't. Only thing I can say is if we look at what's happening here, they are finding money. This is supposed to trickle down to the taxpayer, right? I don't know how it's going to pan out, but that's what it's supposed to do. The corporations, right? Corporations, United States is a corporation itself. United States corporation and other corporations. Look at big companies. Um, and not even all big companies, because you can be a limited liability corporation. There's all types. You could be a C corp. You can be all type of corporations, right? So this doesn't necessarily mean big corps, right? But this seems to mean corporations, right? So any form of corporation is reducing the amount of tax revenue they have to do, because of the tariffs right here being reduced and the state gift. All right, so I can't imagine how this all pans out here for the taxpayer. But as everybody's getting worked up about that 2,578, you're feeding the taxes. Look at that, 2 trillion worth. And corporations are not. They're not feeding tax revenue. Their money is being reduced. Has yours been reduced yet? You haven't received that, so no, that's just in the air. That's crazy. Oh gosh. DeFi. Was that DeFi? Is that DeFi? What is this? DE. It looks like it says DeFi bankless future. A bankless. Well, that's interesting because, right, it's interesting that they put that there. Because when we talk about DeFi, we're talking about decentralized finance. And now we're talking about crypto, right? So if we're talking about decentralized finance, you don't need a bank. You become the bank yourself. That's a whole nother conversation. Total interest savings per year, 4 trillion savings per adult. So I'm not sure about this. I have to do some investigating. But it looks like that says DeFi, bankless future, which I would just say is cryptocurrencies. Now, if this was not important, why would it be here on the debt clock? Do they? Let's see. Emmett saves from the elimination of the fractional reserve banking system. Oh, okay. Whoa. Huh. I'm gonna do some investigating. That's saying that they're closing out a banking system, right? Liberation savings per adult for the elimination of the right. So you should be saving 43,000 because they're getting rid of banks. Savings per adult from the adoption of the U.S. Treasury debt-free, interest-free dividend dollar. Okay, so they're supposed to be making money off of crypto, right? So that's gonna leave. Oh, right. So they're producing a dollar, which they haven't said yet which one it is, a crypto dollar that you can get dividends off of by just letting it sit with the treasury, right? So there's going to be a wallet. It's going to be a wallet. They're going to produce this wallet. and you're going to be able to save money in that wallet, which will produce you a dividend. Which is, I mean, if anybody invests or anybody puts money in a savings account, doesn't count. You don't make money in a savings account. But if anybody that invests, you should know that whether it's stocks or crypto, that you get a dividend yield if you let money sit. So if you use what's this on Robinhood, you let your money sit, dollars sit in Robinhood's account, they give you a dividend yield, like an amount of money interest return on that dollar that sits. In the crypto space, it's the same thing. Some cryptos, and then there are stable dollars, right? Stable coins, and those stable coins yield you 4%, 5%, 8%. They're guaranteeing you 10%. I remember the news article on that. The United States is guaranteeing 10%. So here, it's not happening yet. This is in the future, right? Unless some people are already doing this, and you're late, right? Some people might already be doing this, but I have not seen the United States bank wallet yet for its citizens. I have not seen it. So until I see that news, um, like, where is that? Okay, what app are they using? If anybody has any comments or anything to link, please put that in the comment section. But here, I know what this is. I know what this is. This is supposed to be storing stable dollars or stable coins and getting. Well, you know what? There are. If you go on Coinbase, you can get a yield on USDC. So if you store USDC with Coinbase, do you want to do that though? Right. And then you have some wallets, but I don't think they're attached to the federal government. But I do think Coinbase is attached to the federal government. I do think so. I could be wrong, but I think Coinbase is literally attached to the United States government. So I would assume maybe they're talking about that, and it's not put out in the open for us to understand, which is pretty clever. I don't know what the yield is. Well, I can find out. Hold on. I'm gonna find out what the yield is on Coinbase for USDC. Let's take a quick look. Oh my God, somebody's blowing my phone up this morning. What is going on? Bear with me for 1 second. We're gonna do some investigating. All right. Just trying to get it opened up. That's fine. All right. So on USDC on Coinbase, so it's a 4%, 4.10% yield gain on your dollar. So it can't be there. Because I think they were talking about it's going to be a 10% return on your dollars with them. So I don't know if anybody knows, please share. Now let's get back to where we started, right? You see how we got just pulled away so quick? Actually, we're just going to leave it there. So the market cap for cryptocurrency, right, is 2.44. And so there's really no money here yet, right? When you look at the United States, though, the national debt's 36 trillion. They're generating 2 trillion in income tax, right? So there's your 2.4. Well, our income tax that we're paying in is the equivalent to the uh, market cap of crypto, right? They're close, very close, neck and neck. So that's nothing. That's nothing. That number is nothing, right? Now, this tells us that money is coming into, that's 4 trillion right there, right? In crypto, because DeFi is crypto, it's a decentralized finance system. It operates on cryptocurrency. So where is that 4 trillion at? Where is that 4 trillion? Let's do this again. In the market cap of crypto that we can see, there's 2.44 trillion. 2.44 trillion. Total interest savings per year. Ah, they're saying we're going to save 4 trillion by going to DeFi. So I don't understand. Interest savings per year, 1 trillion. Like, let's see. These are the savings. So we haven't seen it yet. Okay. So maybe they're saying that this money is going to show itself back in, where is it? Federal. No, it wouldn't be tax revenue. It would definitely be, um, it's not gross product. So this would be money that would have to be added to the United States Treasury. So the Treasury is going to see this money. They say it's going to be savings per adult. 43,000. But this is going to go to the treasury. This is going to feed the treasury. This money is going to feed the well, so you can make money, but here's the thing though. Where is that money? This is a good question. So this is the future, right? They're projecting, or you're projecting these amount of savings, but how can we project this if we don't see it here, right? We're seeing this market fall, right? We're seeing it's down 7.99%. We're watching it fall. If we go look up, let's go find, let's do this. Let's use, no, actually, Tether was right there. Let's use Tether, right? Tether is 144, 144 billion. Well, that's, I mean, that's 40 billion more than XRP. So Tether's 144, right? And this is showing us the highest numbers. So 144 billion in that stable coin. You would have thought there'd be an easier way. AI soul means, um, like categories. You'd think they'd be stable, USA. No, I want stable coins. Oh my goodness. You'd think there would be such an easier way to do that. I don't want AI agents. I want stable coins. Right? I want stable coins. Let's see. USDC. No, I don't want to see that. Stable coins. But we know what the US coins are now. Isn't that interesting? But I want to know the stable coins. I want to see all the stable coins. I don't want to see the rest of this stuff. Like, give me a selection to see all stable coins, and we'll be doing great. Well, but then again, is the United States only going to count stuff that's the United States and nobody else's? Because that might help us understand too. They might not be counting stuff like Tether and stuff like that. So hold on. This might be a little simpler. I'm sorry, I might have made a mistake and just didn't. Oh, yeah, look. Okay. So if I'm seeing this right, the United States only has one stable coin, it appears, that they're interacting with. All that other stuff was a waste. Let's go over here. USDC. USDC. United States. Right? Is that what this is telling me? Top made in America America tokens by market. Okay, we don't need the rest. All right. All that was a waste. We don't need to do all that math. We don't need to do that math. Sorry for that. We don't need to do that math. So look, America's using American shit. All right. They're using the United States dollar coin because that's their shit. We knew this. We knew this already. For those of you who I talked to, the new y'all, hey, bro, it's right here. USDC is the United States shit. They're not using no other stable coin. So all that other stable coin shit's in the way. So they're planning. So if you're doing, okay, this goes back to what we just saw with Coinbase, right? Coinbase is giving a 4.12 yield. So if you have your dollars, if you have dollars on Coinbase or even the Coinbase wallet, which might be a little bit safer to use the Coinbase wallet. If you have US dollars sitting over in that wallet, then you're generating a return. Let me go see the return at that wallet. I know this has been a long video, but this is information for you all. Just take it. Enjoy the information. Share it with other people. Let's get into this wallet, though. We're going to go into the Coinbase wallet itself, which you all should have. And we're going to find out what the yield is on USDC in this wallet. Boop, boop, boop. Come on, open up. Golly, boy. Open up. All right. We want USD. All right. Let's see. Earn 4.1% rewards on USDC. So it's no different than the actual Coinbase exchange. So you can literally store um, for 4% return. So as of right now, based on what we saw here in the U.S. debt clock, they're saying adults are going to save in the future 43K, 9,000 per adult, right, on average, on interest savings per year. So they're going to take you out of the banks. That's what they're going to do. They're going to take you out of the banks. They're going to get you banking yourself. So you're going to end up with a wallet. Maybe you're going to end up with the Coinbase wallet. Prepare yourself now. And they're going to get you running your own wallet where you can store your own money in savings, right? Because you don't get savings at a savings account in a bank. App, please tell me you do so I can say you're lying. Oh, I'm getting big money in my savings account. You're lying. Tell me that so I can call you a liar. You're not getting money in savings, okay? You're not. If you have any money, you can get a 4.12% return on your dollars if you have it in a wallet. I know I've generated these yields and gotten my money, so it goes straight into your wallet. It's like let me help y'all understand. If you don't know, I'm gonna help you understand. So let's say you drop $20, $30 in that wallet and you leave it as your savings in that wallet in USDC. Well, it's generating revenue, and it periodically dumps the revenue. How often does it dump the revenue? Let me see if I can pull this up. I might be able to pull this up and show you how. Well, I can't show you. I ain't going to put you all in my business, but I can tell you. Let me open up and see if I can show you how often you get your dividends, right? So if I open this one up, last time, let's go to rewards. Transactions. Let's see all transactions. Okay. I got a reward April 4th, 2024 of 0.3 cents. I didn't have much USD in there. It could have been like $4 or $5 because this is the exchange, not the wallet. So on April 4th, 2024, I had hey man, 3 cent reward. And then March, April. So every month, every month I received a reward. And it was like 3 cents, 10 cents, 41 cents. Depending on how much money you have in there, right? So this is your yield, right? Now that depends on how much money you have in there. I don't keep money on the exchange. That's crazy. I'm not doing it. But the wallet does the same thing. So every month you're receiving yields on that. All right, let me help you understand. So with your savings account at the bank, you're not receiving shit. Okay, it's kind of fucking worthless. You're not receiving shit. If you have a wallet and you don't want to get into crypto, but you do want savings, right? It's scary, right? You can then fucking all right. Well, you got savings. Put your savings in your wallet as USDC. You'll bring it into your wallet. You can attach to your wallet your bank card, and then I believe the Coinbase wallet, and you can then buy. I don't know, like you can convert $100 into. It's not going to be a 1-to-1 ratio because there's transaction fees and everything else. So your 100 might end up being like 96, 97, maybe. I'm throwing out numbers. I can't be accurate. I'm just guesstimating. So that's going to come into your account as USDC. Then you can put that USDC, you can lock it up. And sometimes you don't even got to lock it up. Sometimes it might just automatically do it just sitting in the wallet. I'm not sure. I ain't done it in a long time. But every month you're going to get a reward for that money sitting there. It's just interest on it. Now, the bank's been taking the interest that they make off your money and doing whatever the tiddly do they want to do with it. You just don't see it because they take it. So you can get the fucking reward yourself. So even if you don't like crypto and you're nervous and you're scared about it, if you have a savings account, you should at least have it in that wallet as USDC where you know you're going to get a 4% return, which is better than nothing. It's not going to make you rich, but you will have savings as they're showing you here. If you put your savings here, at least you're going to have 9,000 per adult. So every year, if you're just saving money, it's getting 4% on it. You know what I'm saying? What 10% on 1,000 is 100. So what is 5% $50. So what are we saying? $100 the year throughout the year should be like what? I don't know, $40 throughout the year, maybe. Maybe in that year's time, $1,000 is going to make you $40. I don't know. Um, I don't know. Maybe it's this year or, well, it's a monthly return. So if you're getting a monthly return of 4% on $1,000, um, mm, 1,000, 10 is 100, 5 is 50, 4% should be like $40, right? Because 5 is half of the 10. I'm speculating. Oh my God, somebody do the math, put that shit in the comment section. What the fuck is 4% return on $1,000 monthly? Because your return is monthly. I clearly see that in my account every month they gave me a return. Now, I didn't have no more than $5, $6 in my account, maybe $2, $3. Who freaking knows? I'm not gonna sit here and do the math. You all can do it. This has been a long-winded damn video. This was not my intent. I don't know. Oh, I know how we ended up here. We were looking at that crypto market cap, and then we ended up to the debt clock so you all can see it. But I really want to talk about a crypto. I would do that in the next video because there's different things I pay attention to that actually interest me. Because hey, I'm over here to invest and grow money. That was a long-winded video. Oh my God, I am so sorry. Catch you all in the next one.